After losing a fight in Fortnite, have you ever just taken a step back and wondered, why do I take so much damage in a fight? If so, this could be the video for you. Even if not, just take a few seconds to watch this video and see if you need to know these few things. In this video, I will explain 5 to 6 of the most crucial peaks you need to know to be good in Fortnite, and also 5 to 6 that you should never do in Fortnite. In this day and age, a lot of people know peaks and a lot of people don't, and some peaks are not worth using. So drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. For more videos like this, turn on post notices, and this is one video out of 10. I'm doing a series, 10 videos on how to actually improve in Fortnite. So drop a like, subscribe, turn on notifications for the next video to drop. Hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get into the video. The first thing when trying to learn how to do the most perfect peak is movement in your crosshair placement. For movement, you should swing to the right, like in this clip here. Make sure you're always moving to the right and not standing in the peak and jumping up. Make sure you move to the right and over like this kinda, but try to do it all in one motion, and your peaks will just be significantly better after that. But there's a lot more into peaking than just movement, so let's get into that. The next part is gun delay. Gun delay is a variety of things, and in mastering your peak, you need to know what peak to do and if you even need to do a peak with gun delay. Gun delay, or known as gun swap delay, is basically if you even need to do a peak or not. And to know if you really do is if you have the wall and your opponent's there. If they have their builds out or their shotgun not out yet and their pickaxe out trying to break your wall, like double pickaxing or healing for some reason in front of your wall, something between those lines, without their shotgun or AR out, you can make an open edit as they're swapping to their shotgun would be a delay and you can easily get a shot off but quickly reset. Not only are peaks good and all, but peaks just give you the advantage to get the first shot off. Keeping this in mind could possibly get you the kill or even the start damage as well. So keep this in mind, as if your opponent does already shoot and you hold the wall, there's a few seconds when their shotgun can shoot and you can make an open edit, or if they don't even have their shotgun out yet, like they have heals out, builds out, or their pickaxe out. Since we have talked about some of the main steps and fundamentals you need to know to master your peaks, let's actually talk about what peaks are good and what peaks aren't. These peaks that will be shown in a second here are peaks you should never do. The reason you should never do these peaks is because it creates an advantage for your opponent getting the first shot off, as your shotgun will be delayed pulling out. Not only that, it shows a good amount of your character to your opponent, and also can cause you to die when low. So make sure you don't do these peaks. The first 3 peaks I will be talking about are the 3 to 6 tile edits. The reason these peaks should never be done are because it gives your opponent a competitive advantage when your shotgun is bound to be pulled out, but theirs already is. You could obviously crouch down and do the peak with the 3 tile one, but still it's taking a risk and taking a 50-50. Not only that, the 6 tile one, obviously for the wall, vertical and horizontal, gives your opponent the easiest shots off on you, and also doing regular edits like the 3 corner tile bottom edit and the 4 tile corner edit obviously can give your opponent an advantage as well. And I don't even think they're considered peaks, but might as well throw them in this video so you guys know. Let's get on to the next peaks you shouldn't do. Now, doing these peeks can easily get you killed, like double editing and leaving it open when trying to kill your opponent, like this, and not throwing a wall in front of it. You should always throw a wall in front of it. And also, jumping into the opponent's box after double editing is also an easy way to die as well, as your opponent could easily pre-fire you, number one, or number two, could easily just shoot you when you're coming down, or just standing there and staring at you. So yeah, always make sure you double edit. You could do a window peek, or you can do a right hand peek by doing a 2-tile double edit down, by the way. So always make sure you throw the wall in front so you don't get tagged, and it will prevent less damage and also make it easier for you to clean up the fight, as your opponent could possibly shoot the wall and you could pre-fire them back, or they just stand there and you obviously get the freest damage ever. Another thing you could probably do is the stair one. I love doing the stair one a lot. You do the stair double edit and throw a window and a peek in. I'm sorry I'm playing horrible because I'm lagging here in these clips, so don't mind it. But on to the next part. So I showed you a few peeks you should never do, and now I'm going to show you 2 things that can completely ruin a perfect peek. You could do everything correctly, but these 2 things, and this could be why your peeks aren't perfect, and this could also be why you're dying and losing a lot of your fights. Now, this crucial thing is not having a floor under your cone, as this can make you not hit your head quick enough and easily kill you or have you take damage, even if you do the right way to use a peek, like going to the right. When putting a floor, you hit your head and it makes you fall quicker to make it so you don't take damage. If you only have the cone, you go all the way up to the cone and your head will easily be shown. So make sure you always have that floor under your cone. Now, the second part I was explaining is the most important part. You should never stand in your peek. So when you do window edit, just like I'm showing here in this clip, never just stand in the window edit, or even when you do a right hand peek, never just stand there. And also another crucial tip is to never crouch into your window edit peek. You can crouch to the right, but never crouch into the window where they could shoot you from, as showing crouching into the window peek and also standing in the window peek or on the right hand peek and just not moving to the right could easily get you killed or have you take tons of non-necessary damage that you shouldn't be taking in a fight. Now, this is the most important part and what everyone came here to see. So, the peeks you need to know. Now, the first peek you need to know is the simple right hand peek. The simple right hand peek is considered the peanut butter edit, which is where you edit the top 3 corner tiles. And then with this, you need to know your movement correctly, which was explained in the first part of the video by going to the right. In every right hand peek, you need to go to the right, and you should never be just jumping up and down. Go to the right, swing to the right, and jump up. Have your crosshair on your opponent at all times as well when doing this to always hit your shot. Now, the second peek that you must know is the simple window peek. Now, there's 2 variants of the window peek, and the first window peek you need to know is the middle window peek. The middle window peek gives an advantage but also a disadvantage that I will talk about here in a second. The middle window peek obviously is a good peek. You shoot, you have perfectly select the middle window and swing to the right like stated before and learned first part of the video. This is easy to keep your crosshair on your opponent, and then you stand up if you did crouch, and you swing into the peek, giving it an easy shot on your opponent. Never crouch into the window peek, that could get you shot, and also never ever stand there. Before going on to the third most important peek to know, with the window peek comes the window peek on the side. The window peek on the side has a better advantage than the window peek in the middle, because the window peek in the middle is a bigger window compared to the side window. The side window gives it better for the person doing the peek to hit the shot compared to the person doing the middle window peek taking damage. So also keep in mind, if you can do a side window peek, try to do it, and you will take less damage or none at all. I know before I said the 4 bottom corner tile edit cannot be used as a peek, but realistically speaking, it can. The way this could be used as a peek, it can only be used one correct way. Don't stand there when opening it, and don't crouch into it. But when you do the peek, make sure you go to the side that the wall is still on, not the wall not being on. The part you open, you should never go to the opposite side where the wall isn't on. So you're gonna hide behind that wall as your peek, and then swing in to the peek, getting free damage on your opponent. Now the final peek you should do is actually a left hand peek, but let me explain. With the 3 tile corner edit, you can do a left hand peek, but only this once. The only time you should be doing it is like shown here, when you're box to box against an opponent and they're doing a right hand peek, and you hug the left wall when they're attempting to do a right hand peek, turning their right hand peek into actually a left hand peek for you, and more of a right hand peek for you as well. It could easily get a free kill and free damage off. Also, it's hard for your opponent to see you when you do this. Just make sure to hug your left wall and do the left hand top corner edit when they do the right hand peek. But make sure you're only doing this when diagonal from a box and not across from a box. Let's go over and recap what we learned this video. 1, we learned that for the best peeks, you need to have good movement and good crosshair placement. 2, we learned that the not so good peeks are obviously not so good. And 3, we learned all the good peeks that we should try and do. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I can't thank you enough for spending your time and taking time out of your day or night to watch this video. Drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.